Hey! So, 1, we're going to try this out for my new vlogging spot. 2, this is the first time that I've vlogged with either my sister or brother-in-law in the house. So, 3, I've had a haircut. So I said in my New Year's vlog that every month, one of the vlogs, probably the last week of the month, was going to be books I've read this month, review time party. So I had a good start to 2013 reading-wise. The first book that I read in 2013 was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Obviously a reread for me, because I've read these books once a year at least, every year since they've come out. As John Green said, they stand up to rereading. For anyone who doesn't know, I have a book quotes Tumblr that I post quotes from books that I read on. Go figure, that's what a book quotes Tumblr is. Probably my favorite quote in any book ever is in this book when Kingsley Shacklebolt says, every human life is worth the same and worth saving. None of my life would be the same without this book, so obviously I like it and I think you should read it. The second book I read in January was A Swift Downhill. It's called The Last Girls by Lee Smith. My sister is a librarian and she runs a contest every other week, and I won one week, so this was the book that she chose for me to win. Randomly, she just picked it out. And it's about these women who, when they were in college, they traveled down the Mississippi River together on a raft, and now that they're adults, they're going to repeat the journey or something. I'm not gonna lie, I got about this far in and didn't go any further. I used to never stop reading any book that I started. I've changed that recently just because there's so many books that I want to read, and if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to waste my time reading the rest of it. So this one didn't get much read in it, but basically I was bored, I didn't know what was going on, and I wasn't really relating to it. It wasn't written in a very coherent way, I didn't think, and maybe I just didn't get to the part where I understood stuff, but this one was a no-go for me. Third, we have Virals by Kathy Reichs. She is the person who wrote the books that go with the TV show Bones about Temperance Brennan, and this is the first in her new YA series. Actually, the main character is Temperance Brennan's niece, although they've never met so far in this first one, and her high school friends, all of their parents work for Charleston University in labs, and basically they find this dog tag, they break into a lab to try and clean it off, and they end up getting involved in this like 50-year-old cold case murder, and also catching a virus that is supposed to only infect dogs. It sounds really weird when you try to explain it, but it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. The characters in it are all really witty, and they're super nerdy teenagers, so that was enjoyable to read about. It was a really fast read. I would recommend it. The only thing is, this is the only book in the series that's out so far, so if that bugs you, don't do it. I read this for one of my sister's coworkers who does a trivia contest on the Iowa Teen Award books, which this is one of this year, and she wasn't going to have time to read them all, so I volunteered to read one for her. I'm glad I did, because it was good. The final book that I've read in January so far is Reached, which is the third book in the Matched trilogy by Ali Condi. I have been waiting for this book for so long. I actually read Matched soon after it came out, so yeah, I've been waiting a long time for this book. And it's a dystopian YA series, if you are not familiar, and the basic concept is that the society is the government that runs everything, and every citizen of the society has 3 tablets, a green one, which when you take it, it helps calm you, a blue one, which you're told if you ever need to take it, it will keep you alive, and a red one, which the officials make you take in times of great stress, which actually makes you forget everything. And the society basically just controls all of your life. And this is the third book, and I don't want to spoil anything about the series if anyone's going to read it, but basically this is the conclusion of whether or not basically everything's going to work out or not. And nothing really went as I thought it was going to go in this book, but I really liked how she ended it, regardless, even though it wasn't how I thought it was going to go. And something that I really liked, I don't think this gives too much away, is that she kind of left a little bit of it open to interpretation. It wasn't like, here is how everything played out to a T. So I liked that you kind of got to think about the fact that it wasn't the end and there was more to come and things like that. But it was really good. This one's also a really fast read, at least for me. So I filmed part of this and fully intended to publish it like last week or something, and then I decided to use the thing about the UNI presidential search for my vlog last week instead of the book thing, and now I've read more books, so I need to film more. Every Day by David Levithan. I love David Levithan's books. I have 2 signed books by him. I went to see him at the Cedar Falls Library 2 years ago, and this is his newest book. It's about someone who wakes up every day in a different person's body. So they occupy the body for one day, and then at midnight every night, whether they go to sleep or not, they wake up in someone else's body the next day. And it's a really strange concept, which is kind of a thing with David Levithan's books. If you haven't read any of them, he kind of writes on strange concepts, but I really like them. This one made me think a lot about life and how we see life as this linear progression where we have the same people around us every day and we are the same person every day, body and inside, and all this other stuff, and just like, what if that were different? It makes you think a lot. It's very eloquent, a lot of quotable moments in this one. Currently, I'm reading I Am Number 4, The Lost Files, The Legacies. It has a lot of titles going on in this, by Pittacus Lore. It's a companion to the I Am Number 4 series by Pittacus Lore, which is fantastic and I love. I have not seen the movie. I heard the movie was subpar. The books are great. I love them. They're very action-y, really fast reads, and really intriguing. And I actually originally thought that this companion book was kind of like optional, not really necessary for understanding the story, so it wasn't high on my list to read. But my sister has also been reading the series, and she just finished the most recently released book, The Rise of Nine, and she picked this one up from the library and then handed it to me to read. And so I figured, why not? The book is in my hand, I will read it. It's a really fast read. It really fleshes out the stories of the other Garda besides 4. So I would recommend reading this if you have read the other books. So those are my books of January. Come back towards the end of February for books of February. Maybe stick around and check out some of my other vlogs if you're interested. I don't know. I don't know who watches these. No one. Probably. Cool. I'm gonna go finish my laundry.